I'll just start with obviously what's I imagine been a pretty busy couple of weeks for you. Just how does it feel to be back at CAS first of all?
Yeah, it's fantastic. The place doesn't change an awful lot, so it's bringing back some good memories. Yeah, just really happy to be back in the mix, in the fold. Being able to wear this jersey again is something that means a lot to me. Being at a club that has given a lot to me, so yeah, it's good to be back.
Just talk us through the move itself. When did it first sort of come about, and what has the last couple of weeks looked like for you?
Yeah, it was. It happened pretty fast, to be honest. I mean, with everything that was going on at Newcastle, they were always looking to offload the full time players, and they'd always given me the opportunity to go play at a full time club or a Super League club if they came in. Um, and it was just sort of towards the back end of the year. We weren't really looking for anything for this season. Me and my agent, it was more so for next year. And as he got talking a little bit about 2024, the a few opportunities for the back end of this year came up, and it was sort of to my surprise a little bit that CAS were interested again and looking for a player with a bit of versatility who can play back row and centre, a little bit in the middle. And obviously, I jumped at the opportunity. Really happy to jump on board.
What were the sort of first conversations with Andy Last and the other coaching staff like in terms of persuading you to come back and the role you're going to have as well for the rest of this season at least?
Yeah, he just wanted somebody to come in and freshen up the squad. Obviously, you've seen it's not just me. There's a few others that have come in. He knows that my game's based on a lot of energy and competing, and he just felt like that would give the squad a bit of a lift. Being someone who's going to get challenged for numerous positions, he thought that would be a good addition, and I agreed as well. And I couldn't say no to what a great opportunity it would be.
Was part of that naturally as well the allure of coming back to Super League?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, after playing in the Championship for a year and a half, that sort of opportunity doesn't come round every once in a while. So yeah, when any Super League team comes in, it's certainly something that's gonna make you listen.
How we found sort of settling back in? I know there's still from last time you were at CAS.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I said before, not an awful lot changes. There's still the fantastic friendly faces that welcome me to the club before. Coaching staff are brilliant. Obviously, I had some talks with Lasty before coming here. And players wise, there's been a bit of a turnover since last time, but I feel like I've gelled into the side pretty well and got to know everyone, and enjoying being part of it.
We lost you a bit there. The scream froze. We didn't get much of that.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I've gelled in really well. Obviously, had some conversations with Lasty, got to know him a little bit, and he was a big part of bringing me here and why I wanted to come here. Made me feel really at home again. So yeah, it's been a nice transition for me.
Are there any of the players that you've not played with before that have surprised you or that have stood out this past sort of week?
Um, I wouldn't say surprised me because a lot of them I've played against, and I know of their quality. It's sort of been it's been nice to see them in the form of a teammate rather than an opposition player, and get to know them, and sort of speak a little bit about their game and how it can benefit us as a team and me as well personally. But I've been really impressed with George Lawler. He's another versatile player who does the tough stuff really well. You see what he brings to training, and he's really the sort of player that every team wants in their team.
Just touching on your time at Newcastle, how did you find it that sort of couple of years up there? Because I imagine that's a different environment, not just in terms of where it is in the country, but also the league as well. How did you find that period of time?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time at Newcastle, and I can't fault them at all. It was I loved what they were trying to do and their ambition that they had initially, and I still think that the club can be a massive part of English rugby league, but they just need to get a few things right and get a plan sorted and make sure they know where they're going. It was obviously difficult when they transitioned back to part time. It came as a bit of a surprise. A lot of the players felt that it should have been given a little bit more time after probably a bit of a lackluster first season. But you know they are where they are. They're a part-time team again. They're looking to rebuild, and obviously, I wish them the very best. I think they're in good hands with Chris Foreman. But I mean, it wasn't. I didn't sign there to be a part-time player. So I'm very happy that they've allowed me this opportunity to come back and play at CAS.
Do you feel you grew in certain aspects while you were there as well? I know you had a leadership role at Newcastle. Do you feel that you've been brought on by that spell?
Yeah, definitely, because Chris Foreman he gave me the captaincy there, and it's something that doesn't come so naturally to me. But he always backed me in that respect, and I feel it's something that's helped me grow as not just a player but a person as well. So that's something that I really value, which I learned at the club.
Just final few from me. Just onto Hull then. I imagine are you just sort of chomping at the bit to get out there and playing again now?
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's very exciting for me, especially the prospect of playing against Hull KR, who've been absolutely magnificent in that last game. It's certainly going to be a tough test for us boys, and we know that they're professional enough to not let their form continue, because I know that they may have their eye on the final in a few weeks, but we've got a tough test ahead of us.
We'll obviously come into the game with plenty of confidence on the back of those two drop goal, those two wins by a point. How do you approach a team like that are probably just going to be bouncing off the walls?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, bounce off the walls. They're going to be riding the wave a little bit. So we've just got to match their energy. We've got to start really, really well, and make sure that we contain them, but we also give it to them in the way that we know how to.
Some people might say it's a bit of a risk joining a team that are in a relegation dogfight. Do you see it that way?
No, not all. Not for myself anyway. If you look at my circumstances, it's 100% an opportunity to be part of something special. If we manage to come out the other side of this and be competing in the top league next year. So it depends the way that you look at it, but certainly for me, it's a fantastic opportunity for myself.
Have you looked at the fixtures coming up, or are you just? I suppose you'll say you're taking it week by week at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't had a little glance to see what teams are coming up, and it's not an easy run of games. I don't think there is any easy games in this competition. I mean, even the teams at the bottom, it may feel like a little bit of a cup final when we come up to play Wakefield in a few weeks. So it's we will be right in the mixer, and that's something that I'm sure I'm going to revel in if I get the opportunity to go up there with the boys.
Leeds at Headingley in the last game could potentially be quite big, isn't it? Obviously, I suppose you'd like to get it all done and dusted well before then. Yeah,
that's right. We really don't want to be leaving it right to the last game in a Yorkshire derby against Leeds Rhinos. So yeah, even the very last game of the season is going to be one that's going to be a bit of a challenge as well.
And just on your return to CAS, did you think you'd finished in Super League, or did you always have hopes of getting back to the top level?
I always had hopes. I mean the the ambition was to take Newcastle to Super League or to the top division. And obviously that faded out because of whatever circumstances. I mean, I was in talks with a few Super League clubs at the start of this year as well to see if there was any opportunity for full-time rugby. But it didn't really happen. I mean, sort of as the season's gone by, I hadn't really thought about it. I just wanted to get on with my job. And when Cass came in, I suppose it was a little bit of a surprise, but something that I believe I'm certainly capable of playing at this level and doing a great job for the Tigers.
Just a quick one on your, what's happening after this season? Because obviously you're 29 now, and that's quite young for these days compared to some players in Super League. So you've still got a significant future ahead of you. Where do you see that? Are you going to try and get a new contract with Castleford from next year?
Yeah, I mean that seems like the best route to go down. I mean, I'm not thinking about it too much. My main goal is just to take every week, every game, week by week, perform well, make sure that the club knows that I can be an asset, and we'll go from there, because it's a fantastic club, a club that I'd love to be at in the future. So I'm not really thinking too much about anything further than this back end of the season.
If the worst came to the worst and Castleford did get relegated, which obviously is a possibility, not one most Cast people would want to consider, but it could happen. Would you even stay with the club if they were a championship club?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean there's lots of different circumstances you've got to take into context and see whether the deal is right for yourself. But I'd certainly be happy representing this club at any level. I mean, before that, my mind is pretty much set on doing everything I can to make sure that the club is in the top league for next year, whether they take me on board or not.
Do you think, obviously, looking ahead to tomorrow night, you're going to turn up, and obviously Hull KR are going to get a massive welcome from their fans. They will be right behind them. But with only a couple of weeks to go before the Challenge Cup final, history's always shown that it's a time when a team can trip up a bit, because although they're like, I'm sure every Hull KR player will say they're not thinking ahead to the Challenge Cup final. They'll only be thinking about tomorrow's game. But if you believe that, you'll believe anything, really. Players do, when they're going to Wembley, they do, I'm sure, think ahead to it. So it's actually quite an opportunity for Castleford tomorrow night, isn't it? I would have thought, to be the party poopers and catch Hull KR off guard with a bit of luck.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to what sort of team turns up. You can look at it that way, or you can the way that we're looking at it is that they're a fantastic team that have done incredibly well to get to the final, and they'll want a really good run of games to put them in good stead and make sure that they're playing some good rugby ahead of that Wembley game. So we're expecting a very tough test, expecting to be playing against the same Hull KR side that just won last weekend. So we won't be taking anything for granted. We're looking forward to the challenge.